Alright, so we've had this song and dance before. Hey, I've gone through the names. You guys have heard them before. Look, the Montreal Canadiens, they're in a rebuild. They're going to trade their older players who were in their prime or exiting their prime for either younger prospects or draft picks or both if they can. So, by that token, guys like Josh Anderson, Brendan Gallagher, Evgeny Dadonov, Yoel Armia, Christian Dvorak, Mike Hoffman, Jonathan Drouin, they are on the trade block, okay? Yes, some of those guys will end up staying. Not all those names that I mentioned are going to be traded or are going to be wearing different jerseys by the halfway point of this season or next season, but a good chunk of them will. If I had to guess, I would say 2 to 4 of those names that I mentioned are going to be on different teams. We talked about a few days ago how the Calgary Flames absolutely should be taking a look at Josh Anderson. Yes, I know with the cap hit, we talked about that. We talked about the injury prone. We talked about the fact that he's in his late 20s and he has 5 years left on his contract at a pretty good cap hit. But it makes sense. Now, what I want to talk about here is how I've seen quite a few insiders, at least 3 that I've seen on Twitter, as well as quite a few fans, linking the Flames and the Habs once again. If you're wondering why I say that, once again, well, they linked up on the Sean Monahan trade where Monahan and a first-round pick was sent basically as a cap dump to the Montreal Canadiens. And there was also the infamous Tyler Toffoli trade not too long ago with guys like Emil Heineman and a first-round pick and Tyler Pitlick going the other way. So these two teams have hooked up on a few deals recently, and even going back to the Rene Bourque, Mike Camilleri trade, like there's been quite a few trades. For some reason, these teams, they like to link up on deals, and I don't know why, but hey, in my lifetime at least, I feel like a lot of Flames and Habs crossover. So, I mean, it's interesting because absolutely the insiders and the fans have a point here, okay? Because the Flames, they tried to get Evan Rodriguez to fill out their top 9. They tried to make Sonny Milano work as a PTO in their top 9, and even, dare I say, Cody Eakin. They wanted Jacob Pelletier and a guy like Matthew Phillips to bust the door down and play in the top 9 for the Calgary Flames this season. They wanted that to happen, but it just didn't work out. So now the Flames, according to quite a few insiders, are in the market for another top 9, preferably top 6 forward here. The rumor is that Tyler Toffoli might be in over his skis. I know he scored playing with Huberdeau the other day in preseason, but the rumor is that he might be in over his skis playing on the first line. Mangiapane, yes, looks legit, but they're still not too sure about letting him play on the very first line for an entire season. Guys like Blake Coleman, I'm sure the Flames would love if he could be in a third line spot instead of a second line spot. Like, there's some stuff that needs to happen here. They would love to acquire another bona fide top 6, top 9 forward. And hey, I mean, I know that the Habs, some of the players, they've had some really down years lately, but they have some, on paper, top 6, top 9 forwards aplenty that they'd be willing to give up to a team who's wanting to contend for the Stanley Cup like the Calgary Flames. I mean, this just makes too much sense for these two teams to hook up on another trade. Flames have some pretty good prospects in the organization that they could stand to move and be okay with moving them. Guys like Connor Zary, guys like Matthew Phillips, like I said, Jacob Pelletier as well. There is Jérémy Poirier, a Québécois, also on defense. I mean, do the Habs really need another young defenseman? They've got a bunch. But the Flames have good prospects that they can stand to move to the Montreal Canadiens here for a guy like Josh Anderson or Mike Hoffman. Jonathan Drouin is another interesting name there. Dadonov, if he can turn it on, he's had a poor preseason, but if he can turn it on. Yoel Armia is another guy I could absolutely see fitting very, very well on a third or even a second line for the Calgary Flames here. It just makes too much sense. There's too many names there that just work. And yes, the Flames have some names that they could cap dump, and the Habs have a bunch of newfound cap space from guys like Carey Price going on LTIR, and the rumor is that Paul Byron also is going to be on LTIR momentarily here. I don't know, it it made sense, and I was seeing this on Twitter for a long time, and I would love nothing more than to see my two favorite teams link up once again. I love seeing it. It's really cool. I mean, even going back to, if you guys been watching the Habs for a while, in 2014, remember that playoff run where René Bourque just lit it up when they went to the third round against the Rangers when they lost? René Bourque was a force in that playoff run, and Camilleri, when he was with the Flames in that little run there too, they didn't make the playoffs or anything. They were bad, but he was still a very good player. Scored 26 goals or something, I think, in the 2013-14 season for the Flames. But I mean, I love seeing this type of stuff, and I want to see more of it. If you had to ask me who I would want, I would love to see Jonathan Drouin in a Flames jersey. I think that would just be really cool. And him on like the third line or even second line, I think that would be awesome to see. That's my personal pick. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As usual, like, comment, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.